One. Brain Trust Sports Podcast. Brain Trust. Brought to you not by the Saints offense because that was rough. That was bad. That sucked a lot.
Shit was real
There is
rough.
going to be a lot of foul language used in this podcast, probably more so than all the previous podcasts combined, because we are not happy. We had to take an emotional breather from yesterday. We wanted to do a live reaction yesterday. We had a whole little live stream that we wanted to do, but we were very unhappy.
Two in
Um,
the moment.
Pro tip: when you are angry about something, time allows perspective. And the perspective that I have from this game right now is still pretty similar to what I had um, from yesterday. But there are some things that I still feel very strongly about with the Saints that we can work on, things that we can improve upon. Um, I'm pissed off. Matt, what the hell happened?
Oh yeah. The wheels came off the first drive when McCoy went out and the O-line had to shift around. It all went to shit after that. Uh, I mean, we're going to get into the specifics, but everything was pretty much bad. It pretty
Did Clint
much.
Kubiak know that? I don't think Clint knew that Eric went
Mm.
out. I think he was taking a bathroom break during that. Mason,
He
what the
doesn't
hell
mess with
happened?
that O line.
I almost felt like it just kind of changed his scripting of the plays. But yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, like was Matt was gonna say or was saying is I think I completely kind of messed up the game plan with McCoy out. It messes up your
Yeah.
line, and when your line is messed up, when your line's messed up, you don't have time to develop the plays that you design to go into the game. So you're having a cut plays short. Derek's a little more uncomfortable back there. It's kind of like a domino effect on the whole offense. Everybody starts playing worse when your line is compromised. So I think that was a big part of it. And there was a lot of short yardages where I think we could have used Taysom. That could have extended some drives. But it was just tough, man. Defense played good for a majority of the time, except for Saquon. Let Saquon run on us.
Plays. Two fucking
Um,
plays.
Yeah. Two
That
busted
was it.
plays. Yeah.
mhm. But yeah, no, I mean, because he was popping off some 4 or 5 yard carries
Yeah.
Yeah.
here
But
and there too,
you
and kind
take
of
away the
wearing us
Goddard.
down.
Yeah. You take away the Goddard big play and the uh, Saquon big play. Was
Yeah,
that
for
like that
sure.
was like that's like 130 yards of
100,
offense right
Yeah,
there.
for sure,
literally
brother.
125 yards. And if I'd have told
Yeah,
you, if
it's
you'd told me
crazy.
before this game that we hold the Eagles to 15 points, generate multiple turnovers, and block a punt, I would have thought we'd have won this game by multiple
Right,
scores. We'd be laughing our
right,
asses off. But unfortunately,
right.
when your center goes down, there's three positions in football that, in this order, if you lose them, it is going to be very difficult. And to overcome them, you have to be elite on this side of the ball offensively in one area or another. If you lose your quarterback in the game, this is in the game too. I think there's some things you can kind of scheme around during game week. If
Right.
you know you're out, right, you can make this work.
Hopefully we'll do
You
that
can't lose your
next
quarterback
week.
in the middle of the game. That's tough. All right. Secondly, you can't lose your center. That's the most important position on the O line behind left tackle. Now, left tackle is a little bit different, but when you're running center plays, and especially the way the Saints have been scheming this year, with especially how great McCoy has been this year, he's been the highest graded center in all of the NFL this year. So
Yeah.
him going down, you can overcome these things if you're elite with your play calling and you have contingencies built and you know how to attack them differently, or if you have an elite quarterback, and the Saints don't have either. That's what it looks like right now. They played great the first 2 weeks. Their offense worked effectively. Their offensive line was destroying people. Alvin Kamara had the second. He was second in the league in yards past the line of scrimmage before contact. He was getting 2 yards past the line of scrimmage before contact, and you ran him into a brick wall over and over and over and over and over and over again for 26 carries, 87 yards, 3.3 yards a pop. You also gave him 3 catches where he turned a couple of plays on the passing game. So fantasy kids are super happy. He had a great high usage game, but from a usage perspective, this scares the shit out of me because it just shows that when you don't have a 34-year-old Taysom Hill on the offense, that you just kind of start to fall apart. And Derek played like ass. I just think that he let the this is when you let the when you let game flow dictate how you play, it speaks to your lack of being elite. And I think that was the biggest issue I had with this entire game is that Derek didn't take over at any point. He was just another guy out on the field, and there was no, oh man, this is the Derek Carr drive. He had one good touchdown drive to Olave where I thought he came alive and everything, but 14 to 25 for 142 with a touchdown. And then the worst pick that I've seen since Jameis Winston was at quarterback. No, I'm not buying any of that, man. That was a terrible game by Derek. It was a terrible offensive play calling from Clint Kubiak, and I'm bummed, man. This was a 2-1 start. It's still really solid or something to hang your hat on, but the Saints have got to make some adjustments that I didn't see them make during this game.
Um, I'm not really bummed out, man. I think just as we overreacted with 40-point wins and the first two games, I think it's a little bit overreacting to say the ship's falling apart now too. I think that sometimes in the NFL, you could just come in and there's a game plan that one coach has for another team that just works and that will win the football game. It doesn't mean that that team's better than the other team. It just happened that that day that person had that game, that coach had that game plan that happened to work against that, and you couldn't get around it. So, that's the NFL. We played a really good team, the Eagles.
Yeah,
Um,
and they've been tested too, man. They've
third
played a couple of
week,
really good teams. Yeah,
third week, we're still all these teams are still getting their bearings together, still trying to get a flow with each other. I mean, you don't see what teams really have until what week 8, 9. That's when the real flow starts happening, and you can kind of see where teams are. But right now, it's just you're kind of just everything's new to everyone again, and you'll start seeing a lot of errors on both sides and a lot of
yeah.
mistakes.
Well,
I
Matt,
think
what do
that's
you
what
think
you
about the
saw in the
Saints?
Eagles.
What do you think about the Saints offense? Do you think that it's just a blip in the map or a sign of a greater issue? Um, because
Realistic,
yeah, go ahead.
realistically, yeah, I think honestly, our offense has the potential to be more closer to games 1 and 2 than I think it does to it was how it was this past Sunday, week 3, because it took kind of a storm of shit, if you will. The center, McCoy going down, the line to shift, which then caused, I don't know about you guys, but it felt like every play, whether it be a run or a pass protect or run block, the O line just was making plays behind the line of scrimmage. They were living in our domain, so to speak. The O line felt like Swiss cheese. Alvin Kamara, so AK wasn't getting his. Derek Carr didn't have time to do his and at the same time he looked slow getting through his progressions. I said it during the game to you guys. We miss having you hit it, Taysom. I said it during the game. We're gonna have he's such a integral part of the offense and what he does, where he lines up, where he's at in the formation. I mean, this year he's been a hell of a blocker coming out of the backfield as in your typical like fullback set. And I don't know. It just felt like not having him there, the O line shifting, playing like complete ass. We just didn't stand a chance run blocking and pass protection. Derek really didn't get much of a chance there. We really, in my opinion, we didn't have any playing how we played. We had no business having a chance to win, but yet we did. Our defense, I gotta kind of give it to them for being out on the field for what felt like an eternity, especially during the first half when outside of the first drive, it was bad. Our defense played big time bend but don't break. Didn't give up a lot of points. I think that was assisted honestly by Sirianni, their coach, making a few
Yeah, he did.
dumb decisions honestly instead of
Mhm.
taking points that
Right.
enabled us to still be in the game. But I think also DA made some bonehead
Mhm.
decisions, not going for kicks, not going for some points when you had the opportunity to
Yeah.
get points. I think honestly, it took a perfect storm of shit, and we played
Yeah.
like ass everywhere. Derek Carr underthrew a ball to Shaheed. Shaheed still could have come down with the catch. It would have been a hard contested catch, but he
Mhm.
still had an opportunity to catch it. It was just a bad game, really,
Yeah.
really bad game. It's
That's what it
hard
was. It's a
to
bad
look
game.
at and have a positive takeaway. So I'll say all that to say, the team is somewhere in the middle. Of course, I want to lean towards the more optimist side because that's my team. And the offense being closer to weeks 1 and 2 and not so much week 3. But I think the true team is going to average somewhere in the middle. I just hope that, we sustained it for 15 straight drives and then to all of a sudden fall off a cliff of, I mean, it was a plateau, 15 straight drives of scoring and then just nothing, aside from the field goal to begin. So I'd like to think that honestly, we're a team closer to the first 2 weeks, closer than we are week 3. But time will tell. A lot of things happened as far as personnel wise in this game, and we have a lot of things to worry about. If our personnel comes back, I think we're closer to. Like McCoy is not hopefully a long-term sustainable or a long-term injury, groin or whatever.
Bad
If
news.
it is,
Bad
yeah, yeah,
news.
yeah, yeah. Which a groin injury, I'm not so hopeful on that. So our O line needs to get it together. Taysom definitely needs to go get back again.
He should be back next week.
A health thing, which you can never predict, but uh, we definitely missed him a big time. So long-winded take, I know, but
You
it
guys
was
aren't as
kind of
mad
hard
as
to
me, and that
watch.
makes me madder. I feel like you guys are a lot not as mad as I am about
Oh
losing
no,
this game.
I'm
I'm
not that
definitely
mad at all.
I'm
You
I'm
reining
not
it in
mad
a
at
guys,
little
all.
bit, but it
I'm on
was
this side.
really
you
bad.
you
I'm
Like
had
not
the
mad.
absolutely no business losing this game, even with McCoy out, even with Taysom Hill out. You had no
oh
business
yeah,
losing this game with
We
the way
we
the
go.
should have
defense played,
we
with
should
how
have
Who
sold this
bad,
game.
we
with
playing
how
Oh
Atlanta
bad.
next? We're playing Atlanta next, right?
Yeah, at Atlanta.
We go
yep.
beat
At
Atlanta. We're
Atlanta,
3-1. How are you feeling? Does the Eagles game even fucking matter at all? Excuse
yeah. I
my
mean,
language.
in the grand scheme of things, well, first of all, we haven't played that game yet. I'm talking about I'm just talking about the film that I've seen, sir. The
Right,
film that
right.
Yeah,
we've
the
seen.
film
All right.
Nah,
is pretty rough.
When you
we,
have
our
when you
team
have
has a lot of really good film versus
Yeah,
bad film right now.
yeah.
So there's a lot
Although
of
that
reason to be
was
optimistic.
well,
yeah.
I
there's
mean,
you can subscribe to either and look, and this is what we're gonna find out in Atlanta next week, okay? Did the Saints get figured out? Or did we just not have did we not basically adjust well to the deficiencies that we faced? Because I'll tell you right now, the Eagles had a lot of things going against them this game for them to lose. Nick Sirianni made he it was a game of and this back and forth the entire time. This was Nick Sirianni saying, "I don't want to win this game. You take it." Dennis Allen, "Nope, I don't want to win this game. You take it." "Hey, I really don't want to win this game. You take it." Dennis Allen going, "Hey, Clint, come over here. Make sure we don't win this game, man." That's all I saw this game. They were without their top wideout. They lost Devontae Smith in the fourth quarter, which was huge because now they have nobody except the tight end that destroyed you.
um,
And they lost Darius Slay late in the fourth quarter as well, their best corner. So these guys were just as beat up as us.
Yeah.
And the and this speaks again to another issue with the Saints. They are such a top heavy team. You're depending on Taysom Hill and Eric McCoy to have this offense function properly. And without it, against what we've seen up to this point was a bad Eagles defense. They beat your ass when they switched to a 5-man front, and you had no answer for it. Your decision making on offense was absolutely atrocious.
Oh
Every
yeah.
single huge decision that was made, we made the wrong one. Let's talk about the 4th and 1, okay? And I say all that to say this on 4th and 1, I wrote this down in my notes. You absolutely go for it on 4th and 1 right there. I don't give a shit about a field goal at that point. It's a 4th and 1. It's a block punt. Your defense is playing well. You go and you win that fucking game on 4th and 1. You go for it and you run literally anything else except a stretch to the left behind your backup left guard. What in the blue hell are you thinking that is going to work? That's all I want to know. I want to know why you thought it was going to work. Foster Moreau was getting blown up all game. He was in there to help. Blown up. Why aren't you running a misdirection? Why aren't you running a sweep with Shaheed? I actually thought the Saints won the edges all game. Am I wrong? Like I thought we won these edges all game on the running game, and I
That's
thought we
where
won
we
them on
picked up.
defense.
That's where we picked up our only yards in the rushing
The
game was
majority
trying to
of the
get to the
yes.
edge. Yeah.
So Matt, should we have gone for it on 4th and 1, or would you have kicked a
Uh,
field goal there?
that one I coin flip. Honestly, with how anemic our offense looked, I probably would have taken the points because I kind of figured it was going to come down. Is again, to speak to your point, it was a game where we were both trying to, like the Saints were trying to give it to the Eagles, the Eagles were trying to give it to the Saints. We knew it was going to be a really close game and come down to a field goal, maybe a touchdown, but it didn't feel like it was going to come down to that. So I was thinking to go for the points. There was a couple of times where we should have kicked a field goal, but that was just
Definitely
me.
take the points.
Yeah, I felt like take the points the whole game long, looking at our
Yeah,
offense and how hard it was to even get in a position to get points. I the whole game I was like, take any sort of points you can
right,
get,
right,
and we didn't. Neither did they. I
right.
mean,
And you knew they
they
weren't going to
they
score. They weren't scoring like crazy either. So
yeah, it
Yeah, I
was a
get
battle
that.
of
points are
I get where you guys
so
are coming from with
valuable
that.
in that game.
yeah.
Points
The
are so
Eagles
Yeah,
were
valuable in
like,
that
oh,
game.
yeah, we're gonna go in on this hand.
yep.
We're gonna be stupid. And Dennis Allen was
Right.
like, oh, we'll see you're stupid, and we're gonna raise you more stupid. I
Like y'all
just
said,
But that's what I'm trying to
the
say,
only reason
man.
the
Like,
Eagles scored was Saquon Barkley long touchdown and getting Dallas Goedert down
yeah,
there in a long pass. So
exactly. I
but
mean
you
that
you have to trust your defenses. Other than that, the defense is playing great. And then the few Saquon Barkley runs that kind of
yeah,
extended some drives, but
yeah,
still
into the
didn't kill
second
us.
half. Into
Kill
the
us.
second half, he was able to get his footing because the defense was gassed after the first.
Yeah, that's true
So
too.
it's
Our
just
offense didn't help the defense at all, man.
but that's what I'm saying. So you guys just said in the same breath that you feel like, Matt, you said you feel like the Saints showed more so that they're more like, you think they're going to be more like the first 2 weeks instead of this week.
right.
Mason,
Mhm.
you said similar things as well. So
Yeah.
I want to know why you guys think that you should kick that field goal right there because it doesn't make sense to me. If you say that and then you say this, well, if you have
Because you
faith in this team, then you should have faith that we're going to call the right play and that you're going to trust
But sometimes you got to
that
feel
we
out
can
the
get this
game,
done.
brother. The
I
game
yeah.
get that.
just
But you,
wasn't the
if you,
game. It doesn't mean that your team is going to be as bad just because that moment in that game, you just got to
yeah,
feel it out. You're not moving the ball, man. Our offensive line's on duct tape right now, and
yep. So why run into it?
we're gonna need a week's worth of practice with these guys
Yeah,
there
Yeah.
to actually
yeah,
have this work good. So yeah,
yeah.
right now
Sometimes you're
you
not
keep
moving the ball.
points because your offensive line's duct taped right now. Okay,
Yeah, and I
so
had this
in a
locked and
new
loaded for you
game
guys when y'all said this.
with
I knew you were going to say
practice
this.
and with in a new game with practice for a whole week with these guys in the same
Yeah,
positions, yeah, you go for it maybe. But I don't think
yeah.
that I don't even think that would have happened because the game wouldn't have been that low scoring if we
That's
had
what I'm
our
telling you, man.
starting offensive line.
Sometimes you're not moving the ball, and sometimes that's why you got to go for it on fourth. Sometimes you're not scoring points, and that's why you got to go for it on 4th and 1. Sometimes you're down in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and you run an onside kick
No.
to start the second half.
Yeah, but you don't bluff with a
No.
dog
I was
shit
waiting
hand
on that one, bro.
like with an absolute dog shit hand. Like I mean just
But
dog
it's dog
shit.
shit
Like
because
I
of the
would
play call. It's a terrible play call. It is a awful,
We
god
can
awful
argue
play
that all
call.
you want, but
yeah,
like
Everybody wants to
the
play armchair
yeah.
quarterback over here, but it's 4th and 1, and you got Derek Carr back there. You got Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara, Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. You got weapons still. And I'm
Oh
saying, you
yeah.
know what? Of all these guys on
what
offense,
would be your
you know
play
what I want to
call,
focus
Trey?
this play
What
on?
would be your
I
play call,
want to.
Trey? What would be
What
your
is
play
my
call?
play
Number of
call?
things
Yeah.
I would have
Oh,
gone with, but
God
You're
bless, man.
telling us
I don't
all
even.
what the wrong play call is. Tell us what the right play call is.
How many do you want?
Just give me
Do
a
you want
good
two or
what do you
three?
think you would have preferred? It's
Yeah, I
easy
would
to
have
make a play
ran
from your house.
if I'm running this play call, there's
Hmm.
probably two plays that I feel very confident with. I'd run a play action with Kamara with a post to either Foster Moreau, chipping and then leaking, and then I'd run Jawan Johnson out in the flat. I'd run an end
So put
around
the
with
ball in
Shaheed.
Derek Carr's hands.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely I would. Oh, the guy that
Okay.
I'm paying $150 million
No,
dollars
but
for?
that
Yeah,
you're
go
just
win this game.
contradicting yourself. I agree with you, but that's you contradicting yourself with the Mr. Derek Carr hate. Now you're putting it in Derek Carr's hands with a minute
Yeah.
left in the fourth quarter. That's what you
Yeah,
want to do?
because this should be a play that he can make. This is what most NFL quarterbacks can make this play, man. Like, and I
I
trust
agree
Derek
with
to make
you.
this play
I
too.
agree with
I
you.
don't I don't know that I trust him to go down the field
But
with
you
a
can't
minute
hate on
left to
the
give me a
man at
field
the
goal
same
to win.
time.
Well, I'm saying, man, like I hated it was a bad play call by him. And let's be real here, man. Besides this last 2 weeks of football, has
Mhm,
Derek really played that much elite football for us against good teams? He really hasn't. I think the Cowboys game was the very first game that he played against. Okay, that's a
mhm,
good team. And I don't know if they're a really good team right now with how bad they've looked the first 3 weeks.
mhm.
I don't know yet with them, but on paper, they are going to be a good team. He's played against, and everybody wants to talk about last season and how he finished last season and everything. Um, the Saints got their butts handed to them. In the Rams game, and he came back well and played against that Rams team and got it close in the fourth quarter. But we were down, I think, 3 scores in the fourth quarter of that game, and
Mhm.
then you played a bunch of lollipops and backup quarterbacks after that. You beat a decent Bucks team and everything, and that was good too. But your defense generated a lot of turnovers. Okay, so everybody wants to talk about Derek just lighting it up and being on this heater and everything. When at the end of the day,
Tell us how you
and I'm not
really
trying to
feel.
say he's, huh? I'm
Tell
telling
us
you,
how
man,
you really feel.
he's he's a front runner, man. When it's on schedule, it's fine. When it's working, it's fine. I wanted to see this
Isn't that
early
every
on, and I'm glad
quarterback
we got to.
though?
No, man, there's some dudes that
Isn't that
they
every
live for this
quarterback?
moment. We saw it for 15 years of Drew Brees, man. How many fourth quarter
He
comebacks
was
did Drew
always on
have?
schedule, baby.
Well, Drew put you on schedule because he's elite. He
He
knew what you
was
were
on
doing before
schedule.
you
He
snapped the ball.
was the schedule.
He was a schedule, and Derek's he's just a good quarterback, man. Which is fine in the
Yeah,
NFL. He
for
can
sure,
probably get you in the
man.
playoffs. It could probably get you in the playoffs if you have good pieces around you and everything, which the
Absolutely. I
Saints
agree.
do this year. But they're
I
top
agree.
heavy right now. You're depending on 34-year-old Taysom Hill right now at
No,
halfback
you're
to be a
not.
linchpin of your offense.
You're not
Well,
depending on him.
According to Matt, losing Taysom was a really big deal.
It was a big
It
deal,
is a
but
big deal, but
McCoy
he's
was the
not the only.
biggest deal. McCoy was
Yeah,
the biggest
and
deal.
I said
I
that in the
think
beginning.
anybody would agree that.
But again, dude, if you're the offensive coordinator of the Saints, Mason, if you're the OC of the Saints,
Hmm. What?
and you got 4th and 1, and
My
I want a
second week
touchdown
with a
here,
brand new team, 4th and 1.
third
I
week,
got my centers, my left guard now. My left guard is I don't even know the guy who was just filling up water bottles for Alvin Kamara. I mean, like, what are we supposed to do, bro? What do you
dude,
expect
I,
from
don't
these people,
seriously.
man?
take
Come on,
it
bro.
all goes
I
back to
expected
you take the
exactly what I
points.
saw. I expected exactly what I saw, man. You'd have to come in there and be freaking in that system for 5 years or something, like the dude's just fresh in here and he's putting up 40 burgers for us. And in the moment that he has adversity and we fail, we like go
Yeah,
shitting on this dude already. I mean, it's just like take a
we give
break.
flowers when flowers are due, but we have to criticize when we
Right.
play
And
when we
that's why
make
I
bad
was telling y'all,
decisions.
y'all were too high when it was 40s. That's a football game, man. That was a
Yeah,
scheme that worked out for Clint Kubiak. The shit
yeah.
didn't work out this time, man. And it's because of a lot of adversity that happened during the game. But, you know,
So I guess that's a
Yeah.
percentage that I want to point this out at and everything. And my man Mason's hyped over here, and I
go
love it.
for it. Yeah, I need to
We're
calm down.
hyped over here.
No,
We're
no, don't
hyped over
calm
here.
down. Escalate.
We're hyped over here. We're
Some
hyped over
water.
here. That's great. I love it.
We're
I
going
love it. That's some
straight
good stuff, bro.
to heaven.
Bro. Oof, oof, oof. Mason's hot. So I guess
I'm
that's the
good.
grand argument of things here. It's the adversity that you faced, and it's how you dealt with it, right? There's
Mhm,
percentages to both of those, and how we equate that at the end of the day.
for sure.
I put more of it
In
on
that
your failure
moment.
to. I put it's a 60-minute moment
Right.
because McCoy goes out in third play of the
It's
game.
a long season, though, man. I'm just saying that moment. Go ahead. My
Yeah.
bad.
My biggest critique of this entire game is that I feel like just called a really bad game. I feel like it was just a really bad game for him. I felt like
But it doesn't have to be a
my
concern for the Saints. It just has to be a bad game. That's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
it
it could be
is.
just a
it was
bad
bad
game.
So
on
We'll
not
all
a
find out
fronts.
more
concern. It
next
doesn't
week.
have to linger on to other games
Oh yeah,
and
No.
this is
There's
our
many
yeah.
things.
identity and
Well, you know McCoy's
just
not
a
going to be
bad
not
game.
McCoy. There's
One of
no
those
way that
burn
I
the
see
tape
McCoy playing
things.
Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well,
I
you're
But
don't
gonna
we'll
have
think
to
have a
not.
there's
You
full
a
can't burn the tape.
practice with Patrick there. We'll have a full
Yeah,
weeks of practice, well,
yeah,
week
yeah.
of practice
absolutely.
with
And this is
Patrick.
where you'll get to see the Saints come in and they'll come play Atlanta, who's
We'll
going
have
to
a
be
game
absolutely
plan for
desperate.
all of that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a
No.
desperate Atlanta team. Now you got a desperate Atlanta team that's one and
Yeah,
two.
they're
You got
gonna
to go
play
to
us
their stadium.
hard too. They're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
play us
yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
Of
Yep.
course Atlanta's
absolutely,
gonna play us
Absolutely.
absolutely.
tough.
Hmm.
We just destroyed them at the end of last year. It's their first
Yeah, they're
opportunity to
gonna
go
want to
ahead and
beat the
pay it
shit
back
out
to
of
us.
us
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
they're yeah. I mean,
And they got a real
I don't
quarterback
question
now.
that at all.
and they
Yeah,
got over
yeah,
quarterback,
they got a good quarterback. I mean, as
and
long
they're
as
healthy.
it's the same thing. He's not mobile. He's like Derek Carr. He's not mobile. As long as you give him a clean pocket, he's going to look good.
Oh yeah,
Especially if you give him. I mean, his the last thing we saw from them was him playing what prevent defense, and him not really having to do that much.
Yeah.
But and to not to keep harping on this last game, but I mean, I'm kind of like Mason. That took there's many ways to look at the Eagles game. There was just so many things to point at that were just absolute trash. Uh, all I mean, we don't have to go through one by one again. But I do think, yeah, to Trey's point a little bit, Kubiak called a terrible game. Where was all the pre-snap motions? Where was all the play actions? Where was
We ran motion
eh,
actually on 70% of our offensive plays. 70 was like
that's great.
72,
Yeah, the motion was
72%.
great. My
it wasn't our typically
mm,
like we're
mm,
snapping it with
Yeah.
guys in motion. We would move a
Yeah.
guy across just to identify something, but we weren't snapping the ball with a guy in motion. That
Yeah.
there was it was a little bit different to
Yeah. And I think just
the
everything
first
was
2 weeks.
messy.
I
Everything
think
got
there's
messy.
yeah, I think there's all that, but at the end of the day, Dennis Allen still had an opportunity as a head coach to lead this team to a victory, and that's by taking the points. You had
Hmm.
that was a time to show your team that hey, even despite them not playing their best game, actually playing like ass, that he could have, through being a good head coach, got them a win when they shouldn't have gotten a win. I think
Hmm.
that's one of those games that you can look back at the end of the season and been like, man, if we actually had a really good head coach, we could have got a win there when we didn't deserve one. Um, and that I think would boost morale a lot. But
Yeah.
just to,
we
I
deserve
Trey,
that
you're over
win,
there
dude. We gave it
shaking
away.
your.
We
Oh yeah,
gave that
we
fucking game
did
away.
with not taking the opportunity to score points. Yes, we most definitely did give it away. It was just
Yeah.
bad all the way around.
So
There's a lot of
it
fingers to
was
point, but you're
it
going
was
to
the end of
chalk
the
it
third
up to the
quarter.
end of the day
It
to
was
a
the end
just
of the
bad
third
game.
quarter. You just ran a direct snap to Alvin Kamara. It's the end of the third quarter. You get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. All right. You have a whole break between quarters to come up with plays. And I guess at the end of the day, and again, and I've got Pete saying, "Yep, let's go for it." And I think Pete goes, "Whatever you guys want to do, I want to go for it." Derek, you want to go for it? Sure. Hands
Pete?
off. Pete, yeah.
Okay.
Or Dennis. I'm sorry, Dennis.
Jesus.
Sorry, got
What?
Pete. I got flashbacks. I got flashbacks because we kept running Kamara straight into the fucking brick wall 24/7. That's why I'm getting Pete flashback. Sorry, but you had an entire break between quarters to scheme up a play and drop a play. I would have taken my chances running Trevor Penning to the right. That's how bad it was this game. But I at least want to ride with Penning and say, "Hey, man, big man, we're going to run this thing behind you. Let's do that." Or if you're going to go blast up against the line and everything, bring Jamal Williams in there, throw them off, and then they're going to be that much more susceptible to a play action where you can leak somebody out. Or say, Shaheed, you're the fastest guy on the field. Go beat somebody to the edge and get a fucking yard. I would have run anything else but what the Saints ran in that situation. And if I'm Dennis Allen and you tell me, hey man, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna slam Kamara between hold on, Udo.
Hmm.
Like, okay, well man, we're gonna kick a field goal then if that's what you got. But that's not how it goes. They say we're going to go for it. And Dennis Allen says, whatever you guys want to run, that's fine with me. Clint is in charge of that offense, and Dennis is in charge of that defense. That's it. That's
Hmm.
all that this looks like to me at the end of the day. You know, and it frustrates me because you're supposed to score points to win games, but you have to make the plays to win this game. And the Saints had all the momentum after that block punt. And all you had to do is get one more first down. We were moving the ball. We got a touchdown drive after that, and we went 50 yards on a
9 plays,
touchdown.
50 yards.
We played well. And that was a missed field goal that the Eagles gave you a break on again. Like it's to me, it just seems like
Like a 60, it was like a 60 yarder or something like that.
with the Eagles being
Yeah.
down as many players as they were too, they were down huge key players just like us. Um, McCoy being out is a big deal for us versus let's say
Lane Johnson,
their
their guy.
wideouts, right? But
Lane
Darius Slay went
Johnson
out
went
as
out.
well. Yeah, Lane Johnson went
Lane
out too.
Johnson.
Like your home field advantage
Devontae
should have
Smith.
led you to victory on this, man, but you just gave this game away through horrible decision making. And I have to go back to that as my main reason as to why we lost this game. It was horrible decision making. And it's frustrating to sit here and watch this and go, mm, well, 2 games in, I thought we were going to do this. Same old Saints. This just reminds me of the Green Bay game last year in terms of how we were up and we should have won a game, and then we blew it. But
Should've done
last year, I
last
wasn't
year, bro.
impressed. I wasn't impressed when we were 2-0 last year because you
This
beat a
isn't
bad
last year.
Tennessee team and a bad Carolina team. You didn't look nearly as good. This year, I'm hoping that we can make adjustments. This is going to be a huge test going into Atlanta. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a defensive struggle. And I do not see these teams scoring a lot of points. I don't think McCoy's going to be ready to go. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a
You ride
defensive
the
struggle.
wave, Trey.
Bro, these
You
are
ride
good
the
defensive
waves,
teams.
brother.
Well, I'm just telling you what my
We
eyes
score
see.
40 points in the next game. We're going to score 40
Yeah,
points. We score 12 points. The next game is going to be a defensive struggle. We can't be riding these waves like this, man.
bro. McCoy went out in the third play. That changes everything. Throw the book out when
Yeah,
your
I guess you.
starting center goes out. That changes a
You don't
lot
think
of things,
Kubiak
dude.
can turn this shit around in 1 week?
I think this
As
is
I
going to be a
think
being
big
I
test for
think
him and
on
everything.
I
But
think
Atlanta?
I think
you got
so.
to give credit to Atlanta. You got to give credit to Atlanta. They just went
Yeah,
up against the Chiefs and played them straight up, bro. They
yeah.
played them straight up. They're a
The
bad
NFL's
PI,
been
no
weird, man.
call.
The
They're
Lions
winning the
just
game.
lost to Tampa
Yeah,
Bay, and Tampa Bay just lost to Denver.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, they're going to be desperate,
Got
man,
not just
because they're one
lost,
and
but
two.
got busted.
I'm just saying, man, they are 1-2. Their season is teetering right now, just being at this 1-2 record. And then we're going to be going in there in Atlanta. It's gonna be a stadium, and they've got dudes all over the place, just like we do. And my concern
Listen to
is
your
that we're
story
not.
though. How about it?
Yeah,
It's the Saints just lost heartbreaker to Philly and New Orleans, and now they're gonna be mad and they're gonna come in there and like why can't it be like that? Why is it gotta
Yeah.
be
I don't break. You
Atlanta's
get your
high and they're doing good? Like, nah,
you
man.
get your heart. Look,
Saints,
man,
baby.
it's not a heartbreaker to me because we pissed this game away, and I'm always going to look at this game like a game that we
Burn
pissed
that
away, dude.
tape, brother.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
burn
we
it.
completely pissed it away. But
Burn
Absolutely
the
pissed
I
tape.
that
I
game
mean
away, dude.
I look at it completely like in the frame of how Mason was just talking about. Exactly. I think with a full few things that Mason said, he hit right on the head with a full week's game plan. The same way we didn't expect our offensive line to play well after watching the preseason, and prior to it just looked like complete ass. Yet the first two weeks, they come out and we were trying to find a problem and couldn't find a problem. I think the median is going to be, somewhere in between. I don't think it's going to look nearly that bad. We're going to have a chance to kind of identify how bad the injury is with McCoy, make our adjustments. I think Kubiak is going to review the film as well, and look back and be like, hey, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Trey,
Yeah.
you said it. Shaheed, we could utilize in more than just one way and hitting him on go routes up the field. We can,
Yeah.
we'll
Do not
probably
give this
have
guy the ball, dude.
Taysom back,
Like,
hopefully. We'll utilize more of the pre-snap motions, actually snapping the ball with someone in motion. There was a lot of things that, due to all these things shifting throughout the game
Right.
or at the very beginning of the game, that we just went away from doing. I think it
Right.
was almost like throwing shit up against the wall to see what would stick. We were trying to see, okay, what's going to actually work in this
Right.
game where so
Right.
many chess pieces have moved.
Right.
And so I think that's more of a game you kind of
think we were
toss
throwing
out the
shit against the
window
wall.
and be
Like, you
like,
think we were being creative? You think we were being creative in any way, shape, or form? Because I don't think we were throwing shit
I
against the
didn't
wall.
say
I think we were just trying.
we were creative. And I said
I
earlier
think
we
you said
kind of got out of the script of how we played the first 2 weeks. I just think we were trying to identify what was gonna. Yeah, no, it's not a good look. We were trying to figure out what was going to work because nothing was working. Um, and
we
we
played
just
the
got
exact
off
same
our.
way we played the first 2 weeks. We refused to adjust to their adjustment. The Eagles switched to a 5-man front instead of playing 4 down. They put an extra man in the box every single time against the run.
This man said adjust to our
Man,
adjustment when we had to adjust our whole offensive line. Okay, yeah, that's easy.
the Saints were running. Matt, the Saints were running this ball to the left at will the first 2 weeks, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
What did we do yesterday afternoon? We ran that ball with impunity to the left, and we did not care that it didn't work. We kept doing it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There were
In
no jet
between,
sweeps.
in between,
There
there
were
were
no.
passes in which I feel like Derek Carr constantly, like I said earlier, had a defender on that side of the ball after the
Yeah.
snap every time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it felt like every snap.
That guy, Jalen Carter. Is that who he was, Trey? Is that the guy that
He's
was
a
messing us
monster.
up?
He's an absolute monster. I think I said in the last podcast that dude's a beast.
Yeah,
He absolutely lived in our backfield.
He messed up
Force up the front.
our whole thing,
Yeah,
man. He was
but that's the part
deflecting
that,
passes. He was everywhere, man.
and I don't expect Derek Carr to be Drew Brees, but we have had poor interior O line play. But you were elite somewhere to overcome that and win. And I'm sorry, man, if you tell me still
When?
that, huh?
When did we have bad O line and we were still able to
Interior O
win?
line play?
Yeah.
Oh, with the Saints. Oh man, just go back to when
Drew
Carl
always had
Nicks
a pretty
turned it.
good offensive line. And when he didn't, he was
Yeah, but
getting
there
messed
was
up.
that dude right before Max Unger that played center was absolute trash. I can't remember his name because it's not my brain right now, but it's somebody that we signed and we was like, hey, this guy's gonna play center for us. He was terrible, and then we traded Jimmy Graham for
Mm.
Max Unger and
Gotta go.
somebody else. But
I'll be right
Oh,
back. Gotta give a shot.
all right,
all right.
go ahead.
All good.
So Matt is going off right now to
Duty
administer some
calls.
medicine.
Duty calls. No
Very appropriate
problem.
for a podcast right now. All I'm trying to say is we were elite in certain spots when we were weak in areas that were very important. Back when
Yeah.
we were elite in certain spots. And the name of the game is to
Like
be
Drew
elite so you can
Brees.
go win a Super Bowl, man. Yeah, Drew Brees or Sean Payton just being able to scheme around it and
Yeah.
everything. And then you got to have some kind of contingency set up and say, look, man, this isn't working anymore. We got to say, look, we got to stop doing this stretch left, power eye run, like give up on the play action a little bit because their rush is getting there and everything. Let's go to a little bit more
No.
of a quick passing game,
Yeah.
line Derek up and shotgun, spread these guys out when they go five wide and everything. Let's make
Yeah.
them hurt a little bit and make them a little bit more honest defensively and everything. And then we can adjust from there. And we just didn't do it. That's just all that
Right.
it looked like, man. You
I
know?
mean,
So
I think any head coach, I think Sean Payton, even with Sean Payton and Drew Brees, I think we would have suffered if did that ever happen before to Sean Payton? Did his starting center ever get hurt in the middle of a game?
yeah,
Uh,
Max Unger went down a couple of times, but that's neither here nor there, man.
That's
It
so
never
tough to
got to a point.
overcome, man.
It
Tell
absolutely
me
is,
of
man. But
anyone
you still
who
held
that
them to
happened to
15
that won a
points.
game.
You
Tell
tell me that you can't score more than 15 points to win a game.
I don't know,
Even with
man.
that, I think if
Against
you're elite in those key spots, like at quarterback or at play calling,
sure.
that you can still score more than 15 points after suffering a major injury like that.
So
Not
what
the
are you
quarterback goes down.
asking? What are you asking? What do you want? You want
I'm not asking anything. I'm
what do
not
you
asking
want?
anything. All I'm going to say right now
We
is
have a
that
great
this is
team.
going
I
to
think we have a
be.
Super Bowl team right now. Hot take.
I think we're top heavy, and I think it showed. I think we're top heavy, and I think it showed. Now, what is going to be the true test? Let's be real here. I don't. Let's all on the same page. I don't think McCoy is going to be ready to go Sunday. All right.
I don't know.
I don't think he
So
will either. Groin injury, I
looking
don't think
out,
so either.
it's not looking good. All right. So
No, no,
It
I
put
think
is.
it's gonna
this
look a whole lot better.
It's gonna look better.
Having
Yeah.
I think it's gonna look
Have
a whole lot
practice.
better. Yeah, exactly.
I
Telling
think
you,
it is
dude,
going to be
y'all don't realize how tough that is to lose your center and what goes
yeah,
on in between in
yeah.
between the lines down there, dude.
Yeah, no, I
It's
get it,
so
man. I
important.
totally
Not
get it.
only is it your center, but McCoy is the captain of the offensive line too. He's
Yeah.
probably the vet. He's the vet of that offensive line. He's the one who's
Well,
telling guys where to go and what to do.
Yeah,
feel like we're
yeah,
That's
giving
dude.
his
the offense
job,
a
dude.
free pass here
Yeah,
when the defense played more than well enough for you to win this game. Feel like
yeah, yeah.
we're giving
I'm
the
saying, man.
offense too much for a free pass. Like we truly pissed this game away. I don't give a shit
I
about
don't
losing
think
your center.
No,
anybody's
It's
I
giving
less
him
than
a
agree
15
free
with
points.
pass.
You should
I
win.
I agree
I'm not
with you.
giving him a
Yeah.
free pass
No, no, no,
myself.
no, no, no.
I don't think
I'm just
anyone's
saying
giving him
that's
a
why
free
our
pass.
offense was, and it's not, and I'm saying that's why our offense was bulimic a little bit, or anemic. Sorry,
And if you
bulimic.
Oh
Bleh.
God, this is all bad. This is all bad. This is all bad.
Anemic. Oh, sorry, I can't make. Go ahead, man. Finish it off. You made me forget what I was saying.
No,
yeah,
we
no,
got yeah.
there's a lot of things. It was an ugly
Yeah.
game. I chalk it up, but like I said, I think the offense is gonna. I'm not giving them a free pass at all, Trey. Not even close. It was atrocious to watch. It was bad. But despite all that, I still expect a good offensive game next week. I mean, your O linemen, if they have to go learn a new assignment, I expect them to be You mean I don't have to learn it right then and there on the fly?
Right.
I think we're gonna have
Right.
again a lot closer of a game to weeks 1 and 2 offensively. That might not be 40 points, but I do expect that we can put up 30 to 35 points. It might take us 4 quarters this time instead of putting up 40 points in three. But I just think that, yeah, um, us having some time to actually be like, okay, if this injury persists for McCoy, and these are going to be your positions for the next few weeks.
Right.
These are your assignments. This is how the zone blocking scheme runs.
Right.
And it's not to say
Yeah.
that they don't know it. I think they don't know
Yep.
it, but
Right.
they've built a habit of playing their assigned position, and now they're like, okay, they're asked in game real time to,
Right.
oh, this is your job now.
That's tough to do.
Yeah, I think that's a hard thing to adapt to. Your O line has to shift like that. That's not an easy thing. So
No.
I'm not discounting the loss, but also at the same time, I don't think the sky is falling. It was a rather
Right.
upsetting way to lose.
Right. For
But
sure.
I don't put that much weight into that game.
No.
Although I do think it's something to learn from, though, especially from the coaching standpoint. I think there's plenty of opportunity for Dennis Allen to kind of learn from for our new offensive coordinator with Kubiak. I think there's plenty opportunity for him to learn from. I think this is honestly going to make them a little stronger. They faced this adversity, and it was from a good team and several bad things happening health wise, injury wise. So I think there's a lot of things to learn from this game and how to adapt because it's a long season. And I think this is going to teach them a lot of lessons as to how to adapt throughout the season. So
And you got to get
that's
this
my
Atlanta
my
game.
take on it. Oh
You
yeah,
got
it
to get this
begins.
Atlanta game.
Yeah.
But I was thinking through the first 5 weeks, I'd have felt fine. What I say, 2 and 3, I'd have felt like that had
Right.
been on schedule. So we
Right.
go out if we play decently
Yeah.
against Atlanta, get a win there,
Yep.
3-1.
I'm
I
feeling
still
good
think
if
we
we're
have a
3-1.
chance. Yeah, I still feel
I'm
like
feeling
we
good.
have a really good chance to make a run on this season. Because
Yeah.
3-2 would still be ahead. That's assuming we win to Atlanta and drop the Kansas
Yeah.
City game, that we come out of the first five 3-2, as opposed to me feeling decent at 2-3. I still have a really good feeling. Like I
Right.
said, we were going to have some growing pains through the first few weeks. Maybe
Right.
this is the first sign, although it took injuries. You never wish that,
Right.
but that's not really growing pains. That's just bad luck. But
Yeah, man.
I think this
Adversity.
this adversity is going to honestly make the team better, make it stronger.
Yeah. And it's good it happened in the beginning of the season and
Yeah,
not at the end of the season.
yeah. I think the McCoy thing
Well,
is going to be big, though. As long as we do learn our lessons coaching wise, how to
Yeah.
scheme without or with these
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
shifts in place.
Everybody's still learning, baby.
Yeah,
We
that
just happen to be really quick learners in the first two games, but everybody's still learning. And yeah,
Yeah, man.
we picked up on those first two games, but that just showed a little sign of since something bad happened to us, we lost our center. There, look, okay, there's the same. Look, there's the new that you should have expect. We all should have expected to begin with some
Yeah,
bumps
man.
and.
yeah. I never thought I'd think, or I never thought I'd say last year or the year before, I missed Taysom throwing a lead block. I never thought
Yeah,
I would say that a year or
yeah,
two ago, but
true.
through the
Right,
first 2 weeks and then having him missing for the
right,
third week,
right.
looked pretty apparent when he was missing, or just the
Yeah,
third and
Yeah.
ones and fourth and ones.
yeah, the little
But
short yardages.
but I
This
knew
game, man. This is gonna piss me off when it comes to. I got this feeling just like this Green Bay game that we lost last year. You had no business losing and everything. That last year was a completely different situation. Groupie missed a field goal he should have made. And the Saints could have won that game. With this one, you had so many things going to your advantage, even with the injuries, with the Eagles just completely brain farting all over the place, playing terrible. Jalen Hurts playing like crap. You playing with your hair on fire on defense, making plays. Carl Granderson, all pro, dude. Let's go. All right.
yeah,
This
Yeah,
dude better
Granderson
and
make
needs to get a
an
shout
all
out.
pro this year.
number
All
C,
right.
number
Rasee
C.
played
Mario
really
Davis
well.
still playing well. Even Chase Young got 3 quarterback hits. I know he's not getting a lot of numbers right now, but he's freeing up everybody on that D line right now. Brissy, year 2 sacks against Jalen Hurts, especially when you had to have him. The Saints were absolutely lights out on defense in this game. And I'm just going to be frustrated when it comes down to the end of the year. And if we're teetering on that 9-8, 10-7, like you guys say, but Tampa Bay is right there and everything, and we end up losing this division by a game. This is going to be the game that we all look back at and be like, this was the one that we should have freaking won, man. And
We
that's
don't
what's
Yeah,
know
going to
that.
piss
We're
me
only
off
we
on the
more
should
than
have.
third
anything
game.
else, man.
No,
We're only on
if
the
it does,
third game.
yeah, if it does come to that, but even
It's
then,
deja
Trey,
vu, man. It's
you
deja
should
vu
have
from
took the.
last year.
If that's going to be the
I
case, you
think you're
should have took
still.
the field
I think
goals.
you're still hurt
Like,
from last year,
Bro, don't give
Trey.
me the no. You should have called a fucking competent play on 4th and 1. Don't give me the fucking take a fucking field goal shit. You call a fucking
the,
competent play. Run it,
or you
run,
take the
run. Oh,
points.
oh,
Take
yeah.
the
No,
points,
it's not.
man.
It's not take the points
Read
or
the
run it
room. Read
behind
the
Udo.
game.
It's not take the points or run it behind Udo. It's go win the game with a competent play call. Go get a touchdown here and put this game out of reach and win the fucking game. You got all the momentum. Your defense is playing lights out. That is what you do in that situation. This whole take the points. Oh, you're supposed to score points. You're supposed to win the game. You're also supposed to play
Yeah.
not to lose. You're supposed
How
to play
how
to
You're
win.
also
how do
supposed
you
to
win
not
the
let an
game?
80-yard pass to Goddard, the only person that they have out there. You're not supposed to
All these
run
guys. I
into
knew
each
I was not
other
going to
in
have.
the
I
middle of the
knew I would.
field.
I knew. Yeah, and look, that all
The
that stuff's.
DBs ran into each other in the middle of the field, and then
Yeah,
Goddard was wide open, man.
Bro,
yeah.
when I
No,
saw
That's
that
just a that's
after
just a
after
it's just a brain
after
fart mistake.
after
Bad
seeing
bad
the
play.
O line do the exact same thing earlier in the game, to see the
Hmm.
DBs doing that, when I
Yeah,
saw that on the
you're just
replay,
out of sorts, man. You're
I
out of
literally
sorts.
laughed. I was like, it's really like one of those kind of
Yeah,
games
you're
where
out of
earlier in the
sorts,
first
man.
half, your O line literally both of them pulling just collide
Yeah,
with one another, and then to
yeah,
see the DBs do the exact same
yeah,
thing
yeah.
later in the game.
outdumb them.
I was like, Jesus
Out of
Christ.
sorts. It's a
It took
learning experience,
the
man.
wheels falling off the bus for us to lose that
Yeah,
game.
it's a
I'm
learning
glad. I'm glad
That's
you
why
experience.
I
call it.
keep
I'm
talking
glad.
about the field goals, because it took all of that. We passed on a 57-yarder, and Groupie
Yeah.
said
What
his
was that all
career
about?
long. Groupie said his career long is what, 56
Yeah.
this year?
It was a
And he
Yeah.
needs one
Why are we
57.
more?
I thought it
punting?
was a
Why?
57-yarder.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
maybe
a
it was a
57-yarder we
57.
passed up on.
So
We
he's
57
passed
already
on it,
yarder.
then we
made one.
punted.
Yeah, he's already
Yeah,
made one this year. You pass on that, and then you
yeah.
pass on the field goal,
I
fourth
was
and
I was
20.
okay with passing on the 57-yarder.
Not
I
me.
don't know
Not
I
with
about
how
that,
that
was.
game
bro.
was. Not with
I
how that
was
game
because
was playing.
he just doinked the 10-yard. He was like on the 10-yard.
Yeah,
The first one
yeah,
he had, he doinked it
yep,
off the thing, and he was right next to it. So
yep.
why
At the
let
end
the
of
guy go hit a 57-yarder
Because at
like
the end
that?
of the day, he still made it. It's a field goal kicker. At the end of the
He
year, you
doinked
look
one.
at
You know he's
yeah,
rattled.
yeah. So what?
He's
You at the
rattled.
end of the
So
year,
what?
no, at
Go
the end
ahead
of the
there. Go
year,
get a 57-yarder.
he's
Oh
what
my
does he miss?
gosh.
Was he missed an extra point?
It,
And
it's the same. It's
This
the
is so
same
funny.
reason why you kick a field goal on the other one.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
because
What's
you
he
need
missed this
points.
year?
Points are in field position or
Yeah, yeah.
in
But how many has he missed this year? Has he missed one PAT? Is that what he's missed so far?
yeah, you missed a PAT.
Total?
And
Like no field goals, just one PAT.
I don't know if he
Well, that's
missed a
why.
field
That's
goal.
why.
Yeah, let him kick the
That's why.
50.
So all to that same credit that makes you pass on 57 yards, might as well pass on a 37-yard and go for it
Field
on 4th and 1 and call
field
it correct play
possession
call,
is
right?
important.
Right?
Well, field possession is very important in the game too, Trey.
I do
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah. No,
the
Field
field
I'm just
positioning
position.
is very important, but
I'm
Field
just messing
position
with the
he's
logic,
made
very
it.
man. I'm just
important.
giving you a hard time, dude. I'm just giving
He's
you a hard
already
time. I'm just
made
giving you a
it
hard time.
this year in his
You don't
his
kick a
biggest thing.
57-yard field goal because you need points.
All right. I was always right about Derek Carr.
It should he
I
makes
was
that
No,
always
you're
right.
in
not.
the 30 something yarder. That means you win in regulation, though.
Jeez.
That's what I just think. Nah, man, you got to
I
take the
don't know.
57-yarder, and
Well,
then
look,
at the
man.
game you're playing to win it in regulation with a field goal instead of trying to tie it up.
Yeah.
It's
Just
all
whatever.
hindsight at the end of
So
the
look,
day,
man.
you know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
My
very
early
much.
inclinations. I want to talk about this Falcons game really quick, and then we're going to get into a little bit more of a preview once we get some injury reports out and everything. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share all this and
Like,
everything. Of
subscribe.
course, thanks. We want to thank everybody for sticking with us and everything. We're gonna be adding some things here in the next couple of weeks. Definitely want to do, regardless win or loss, a live stream after the Falcons game and everything. Okay. Um, but I want to talk about this Falcons game a little bit more because my early inclination is that it's going to be a defensive struggle, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game in the low 20s, upper teens. I think that's how it's going to play out, and I hope it does just because I think that'll favor the Saints. I don't know that with McCoy being out that we'll be offensively having the same firepower to compete with that versus a Falcons team that is really starting to kind of put it together a little bit and took the Chiefs down to the wire and everything. So, what are your just really quick, Matt, early thoughts on what this Falcons game is going to look like? What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I think it'll honestly be a defensive struggle for them to score points. But then again, my brain, as I'm thinking about it, I think McCoy's going to be missing again in the Atlanta game. I think we'll have Taysom back. I do think Kubiak's going to do some looking in the mirror and some looking at this film,
Yep.
and to realize, what was working the first 2 weeks, and apply it
Yep.
to, hey, my offensive line is going to look a little different. So some of these plays where the ball is out of Derek's hands a little bit sooner, he's probably going to start dialing those up a little bit. And so it's not going to be, there's still going to be play action involved, but it's going to be designed to where, hey, you're not, by the time you're completing the play action, you're turning around and looking, it's designed for you to get rid of the ball. If it is a play action call,
Right.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of long developing plays, although I think we still will call them. We're gonna still go for our shots. So full scope, I think McCoy's going to be missing. Taysom's going to be playing. Kubiak's going to do some learning. If we're going to do any sort of prediction, I think 34-20 is what I'm expecting. If
Pumping the sunshine,
those things,
Matt Hill. Pump the sunshine. Pump it.
well,
up.
I just think,
Pump
like I
it
said,
up. Pump it
our
up. All
offense
right.
is going to be closer to how it was in the first 2 weeks than how it was in the just absolute shitstorm of a week
Mason,
3. So
I
you
don't know,
tip the
man.
scales. You got
I'm
Matt
tired
on
of
one end is
pretending. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Matt's pumping
I'm
the
tired of
sunshine and I'm
pretending
shitting
like
all
I
over
know.
everything. What we got? You're tipping the scales, bro. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm just tired of pretending like I know, man, because they are unpredictable at this point right now, and I think it's very
very unpredictable.
reasonable to be unpredictable right now because it's only the third week with a new coach. Having
Right.
said all that,
Well, I set my expectation. Mine was
yeah,
McCoy not being out, but Taysom
for
coming
sure, for
back.
sure, for sure.
So go ahead, set your expectation and how you see it playing out.
Yeah. I'm thinking like a 24-17 game.
There we go, Mason. Thank you. Rational side. Matt is the
Maybe
sunshine pumper.
28,
And
28-17,
whoa,
something
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
that.
whoa, 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 whoa,
I say we
whoa,
get 2-3
whoa.
touchdowns, field goal here and there.
Two
So
pick
what's that?
sixes gets those 28 points. Two pick sixes. Kirk Cousins sucks.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
Statue. We're going. I'm looking forward to our D line against their O line for sure. I want to see what we do against Kirk and everything. See if he's still statuesque back there. But this is a must win just for the simple fact that you're not beating Taylor Swift's witchcraft in Kansas City. There's no
Here,
way in
here,
hell.
here's a hot take. Send Delonte Taylor on more blitzes.
Jesus Christ, that dude lived in the back door. All right, y'all.
Yeah, he's
Well, that does it
awesome.
for the Brain Trust Sports Podcast. We will
All
do a
right,
little bit
guys.
more of a Atlanta dive and everything. Maybe we'll live
Yep.
stream. You guys take care and everything, okay?
Who dat?
Brain trust out. Closed.
Close.
Trust.